start my adjustment. Okay, thanks for tuning in live with me today. Thank you for picking out my outfit on my live all orange try-on haul. I'm going to be doing the same thing, so if you're joining me live, just hang in and hang out with me while I'm cooking and I'm recording my my actual video. So let's get into this red crispy dragon calamari from Red Lobster. I'm going to be doing the copycat recipe for you guys today. And thank you for joining. I hope you've already hit that like, the bell, and the subscribe for my algorithms. And let's get into this fried crispy calamari. Say that 10 times fast. Alright, so I grabbed this calamari. I did get this from Walmart. A lot of grocery stores has this brand, if you can see it. It's just frozen calamari. This one comes with the tubes and the tentacles. Which is basically, I'm going to show you the parts of the calamari, and then we're going to cut it up, and then we're going to batter it, and then we're going to fry it. So eventually we want to get our, hot grease. And I guess I should show you the ingredients. I'm getting so ahead of myself. Okay, alright. Let's get into the ingredients you need for fried calamari. You need the calamari. You need a pan with oil. I do like to cook with olive oil just because it's healthy for you. Pure olive oil. Not the light stuff, just the regular pure olive oil. And I fry everything in that. Anything you could fry, I fry it in olive oil. And so you're going to need your pan and your olive oil. You're going to need a bowl for your batter. This is going to be, you could use beer, but I'm actually going to do a seltzer water. I know, how boring. Because the one at Red Lobster is more of a carbonated water batter instead of a beer batter. The basic same ingredient is the carbonation, so it'll just be with no beer flavor. If you're a beer fan, put the beer in there. So you either need beer or seltzer water, original carbonated water. Flour of your choice. I'm going to be trying coconut flour. I just got this for the first time. I'm going to try it out. It is an alternative to bleached white flour, which is not good for you, and there's no nutrition in it. I don't like white flour. Whole wheat flour is kind of too heavy. So I'm going to try this coconut flour because coconuts are good for you. I know they have almond flour. You can try that. You can try whatever flour you want. So I'm using coconut flour, but you could use any flour. So flour. And I like to spice up everything. Any kind of batter I make to fry, I spice it up. So my spices of choice are garlic salt, Creole, and I like the spicy dash. So we got that, and we need a bowl for our batter. Now let's get started. So we're going to have our pan of grease heating up, and we need to cut up our calamari, and we need to make our batter. So let's go ahead and do our batter second. And that. And thanks for watching me. I'm kind of making this up as I go because I've never cooked this before, but I'm pretty sure I can cook this. So here we go. Alright, this is for our batter. You don't need that yet. So we need this in our cutting table, which I forgot. My knife. My sharp knife. Okay. So we're going to cut up the calamari. There's two different parts to the calamari. Especially if you can buy them already in rings that are frozen and they're already cut up. They're bigger and I don't really like them. I kind of want to do them myself because I like the smaller rings. So I got the actual whole pieces. So it's basically the body and the head is basically what that means. Like the tentacles is pretty much like the head and the tubes are like the body. So they've already mostly cleaned them out, and then I just showed you how to or I'm going to show you how to take the beaks out. So you want to check all these, make sure your hands are washed. You want to check all these pieces right here. This is what we call the beak. I mean the head, the tentacles. And this we're going to fry as a whole piece. So we're not going to cut this up, but we are going to make sure the beaks are not in there. So let me show you how to do that. Watch the edited version to see that part. And these are going to stay whole, so I'm going to keep them in my milk bath. So that's another ingredient. I like to soak my seafood in milk before I fry it. I think it just makes like the stickiness, the sliminess go away, and I think it makes it more sticky to hold the batter onto it. So milk bath, all your tentacles, all your heads. I can have a lot of fun playing with these, and I am so glad that this creature is going to give me nutrition, because this is actually kind of fun to play with it. Seafood used to gross me out, but now I just like it. I like it when I cook it. So this is what a body looks like, and it's actually kind of like a tubed shape. So there's a hole in the inside, and it's basically just kind of like the body. It's like a little cone head. So this is just milk and body, or they call it the tube. So you're going to just lay it flat, and these basically just have to, if you've ever gone to a restaurant, you notice there's rings, and then there's tentacles. So we already have our tentacles cut up for us because they did it for us. Thank you. What is the name of that? Boys in Select for doing all that work for us. So I'm just going to cut this into rings. So you want just a good size ring and a sharp knife, because it is a little tough to cut into. And you can cut into them when they're frozen, but I don't like to fry with frozen meat because the breading doesn't like to stick on it, so you should thaw it out. But you can cut it when it's frozen. And there we go. We have perfect calamari rings ready to be battered and fried. That's all you want. So we're going to cut up all these bodies into little rings. Oh! Here's another one. But it's okay to have small pieces because everything you can fry. You can fry all of it, so it doesn't matter the size. It's kind of just what you like. If you like the big rings, cut them bigger. And I do like to make sure the milk gets on the inside of it, because I know I'm making a mess, but I always make a mess. The milk just kind of, I feel like it cleans it a little bit, but I don't know if there's any scientific fact backing that up. I just like seafood and milk bath. Seafood and milk baths. Alright, so here's these cool little rings coming out. This is really simple. So you just buy the bag, you make sure there's no beaks in them, and they're rinsed off, and then you just throw them in some milk for a milk bath, and then you just play with it. It does roll on you a little bit, so make sure that you don't like cut your fingers when it rolls on you. Be prepared. So this is what they look like. Let me show you up close. That one's like really perfect. And then of course this is what the bigger ones look like. So I'll give you a little close up without dropping them. Alright, let's see. It's in my light. You kind of see it. We'll have to watch the real version. Oh, there it goes a little bit. Alright, so there we go. It shows up good on that camera. That's kind of weird. Light effects. Okay, so here's the rings. And let's just keep cutting all of them. Cut them all up. I could probably do a couple at a time. But just sit here and hang out with me. Thanks for watching. I hope you try this recipe. And hope you're having a good night. And I hope you like my all orange try on haul. Now when you're cutting this up, if you notice that there's something like pokey in it, it's probably, there are like the insides that they cut out. So sometimes, like right here, this is a perfect example. There's like a shell, one of the inside shells still inside of it. So you want to make sure you kind of clean them off as you go. That's just seafood for you. All seafood is like that. So just as you cut, make sure there's no pokey, sharp, cartilage, shell, weird pieces in it. Make sure it's all smooth and milky. If you like slimy stuff, I definitely recommend cooking with it. Like, this is totally fun to play with if you like slimy things. And I love milk too. Get to play with slimy. Alright, so this is called, it's called calamari, but what it is it's fried squid. So squid, calamari, it's a creature of the sea, kind of like an octopus, but it's got a tube body instead. And they are really delicious. It is my favorite appetizer, fried calamari. Fort Lauderdale has some really good fried calamari. That's kind of, when I saw it at the menu at Red Lobster, I was like, ooh, we're going to have to figure out how to make that. I eat this like every day. So we're just going to cut this beautiful fish meat up. And all of this is edible. So the whole tube and the tentacles are edible. We've already taken off, the company and I have taken off all the sharp parts, all the unedible parts. And there we go. So I think the milk also helps keep it moist while you're cutting it. And then of course we'll drain the milk off and we will batter it. We gotta batter our squid. It is pretty tough. Like shrimp, I know you can tear really easily. Like you could tear shrimp apart because it's like more sensitive, but this is pretty sturdy. It's kind of got some elasticity to it. Anything's good fried though, for real. Alright. I think we almost have all of them. Let's see here. No, we got it. Oh, look at this big one. This was a bigger guy here. And I felt a little something something on the tail. So I'm going to pull that off. Feels like it just has like some film with like some, it feels like sand on it or something, but it's just like the shell. So wash it off my fingers. I have so many lights I could barely get to my sink. Okay, alright. Let's cut up this big one here. And if you could tell, the bigger the body, the bigger the rings come out. Let's see how, like, compare it to one of these ones. It's like all little. See if I find a little one. And it's like playing with my food, okay? Alright, I don't know where there's a little one. Let's just cut this up. There's a little one. This kind of broke though. And it's very squishy. I like this cool one right here. So when you get the rings already made, they kind of look this big in the package. Like they come like that frozen, but they're big like this. I kind of like a variety. I like cutting it up myself though. Like that's half the fun, playing with your food. I used to not be able to do this. Slimy things would have grossed me out. But I like seafood now. Do you like seafood? What's your favorite food? Like as far as meat goes? Seafood, beef, chicken? And I think we're almost done cutting up our squid, aka calamari. They'd even be good in teriyaki. Teriyaki sauce. At the end, I'm going to make like 4 or 5 different dipping sauces for these. Depending on your like and your favorite. I love condiments. I just love every condiment in the world. I just like to have an excuse to make extra condiments. But we're going to get creative with our dipping sauce, and then you can figure out which way you like it, how you like it best. Cutting this up is very therapeutic. And it's actually very relaxing, with or without music. Alright, so I have all my heads and all my bodies cut up, I think. Oh, here's another one. This is actually going to make a lot. I got 2 packages in here. This isn't just one, it's 2 packages. So make as many as you want to eat. It is better, like, good the first day, but if you do save it and you have an air fryer, it's really good air fried the next day for leftovers. And the air fryers are great for everything. Okay, let's stop playing with it and start cooking it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dump, now that this is all like clean and cut up, I'm going to strain it. I just have here a strainer, just a regular strainer with holes. Can you see me? And just a pot to catch the excess milk. And I'm just going to slowly pour this in here so I don't splash it everywhere. And that way we can see it better when we put it in our batter. There we have our beautiful, ready to fry calamari. And I'll get rid of this excess. It's a little piece of onion that I cut up earlier. I keep turning things off. Technical difficulties. We're in the dark here. Okay. Now we're not. I wash my hand. This is my first time making this, so bear with me. Alright. Let's clean our station here. We got clean hands, clean station. Let's make our batter. Batter time. Alright, so there's different types of batters you could do. There are dry batters, wet batters, and a wet and dry batter. So we're going to be doing a wet batter, wet beer batter, aka wet alkaline, seltzer water batter, carbonated water batter. All kinds of wet batter. Alright, so we're going to want to put in, oh, I know I forgot something. Hold on one second. I need my cheat code real quick. I know I need like baking soda. It's like flour, seltzer water. I'm missing one ingredient. I get confused whether it's baking soda or baking flour. Powder. So, one moment please. This is the part that makes it fun for editing. Just cut the whole chunk out. Okay, my phone takes forever to turn on. Let's see here. I hope you like my try on haul. Everything orange. How to style orange. thanks for hanging out with me. I got some fun stuff coming up. Like a DH Gate swimsuit try on haul still. To go live. Oh, wrong button. So why blonde should not operate heavy machinery. I had it. Oh, you did not hear that. Colbert, hold on. I always miss it right at that spot. Baking powder. Okay, salt, baking powder. Okay, so it's basically just salt, baking powder, not baking soda. So let me get the baking powder. There we go. It's right there on top. Okay. Alright, so you're also going to need some of this. So let's get our teaspoon out. That's not my teaspoon. Teaspoons. For our batter, we're going to do a teaspoon of baking powder. So this is a half a teaspoon, so I'm going to do 2 of these. Actually, probably just 1. 2? Why not an extra one? Alright. So we got some baking powder, salt. What does it feel like I'm making a volcano? I never did that as a kid. I don't know. Alright, flour. I'm just going to pour some flour in here because I don't think it really matters how much. I'm going to need a lot though. Alright. Hopefully this smells so sweet. Like really sweet. Maybe I should add some wheat to it. Nah, it'll be alright. Alright. You want enough flour to cover everything. I so know what I'm doing. Nah. Alright, now we can mix this up, and that would be helpful to have a fork. Get your mixer, and we're going to, mix up the dry ingredients, and then we're going to add the salsa water to it. So, let's mix this up. And we're basically just making a wet batter, and instead of using milk or water, we're using carbonated water. And that's going to make it really light and fluffy. So it's just the baking soda or the baking powder makes it rise. And the salt, I don't know, they put salt in everything. It does something. Like make a volcano. Oh. We were shaking the bottle. Okay. You just want to pour in enough until it's wet. Ooh. Just let it overflow into the thing. Okay. I love that noise. Alright, so I'm just going to pour in a little at a time until it gets to be the right consistency that I want. And I do believe it's best not to over stir your batter, so just do a pour and a fork, and we're going to need a lot more of this. Let's just keep going. You can always add more flour. If you add too much carbonated water, just add some more flour. But I think this is good. This is kind of how you make biscuits too, except for you would use less water. No, I don't know. Biscuits might have egg in it. Are you confused? Alright. So flour, carbonated water, and it's kind of like fizzing up a little bit. But I need more. Like a lot more. I'm going to have to use this whole thing. So just pour it all in there. 1 per recipe. There's an amount. Alright. I don't really measure when I cook. I've always just liked the science of cooking. And I may have put in too much now, but you really just gotta play with it and have fun with it. And make something complicated not so complicated. So, we made way too much batter, but we're gonna have to add a little bit more flour to this. Because, whoa, whoa. And now that we don't have more seltzer water, I'd be careful you don't add too much flour and be right back where we started. We just want this to stick to it, so. How sticky is this? Oh, that's sticking kind of nicely, actually. I think just a little bit more flour, and I think we did it. All right. Yeah. Just need a little more. A little more oomph. And I do have my swimsuit bottoms and my pasties on, and my skin tone color pasties from Shein as well. Alright. I don't know if this is what it's supposed to look like, but I think we're just going to try this before I make it worse. Alright, so we have this globular mixture, and when we put one of these in here, it definitely gets batter on it. So we're going to take this and drop it into the hot oil. But first we need to put our spices. I just wanted to make sure that that was going to work. Just want it to stick to your calamari. That's another cool part about soaking them in milk, because it really does make them more sticky to the batter. So, spices. Garlic salt. Again, it's add to your liking. I like some flavor to mine. This does get spicy, so don't overdo that, because we're going to have some spice in our sauce. One of our sauces, a couple of our sauces. And you're going to need some Creole in there. This does have salt too, so don't oversalt it. Mix that up. Oh, I breathed in all that. Hold on. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. It got me. Alright. Be careful of spices. You could have put the spices in before you add the salsa water. I don't think it really matters because it's just a mixture. A weird looking mashed potato mixture. I've never really done this kind of batter before. I usually always do like a milk egg bath in flour, just dry flour, but this is kind of looking cool. Hopefully it tastes good. Alright, so we got our batter, our calamari, and then we're going to put it into our oil. So let's get our oil hot. Which one's the front one? I use this stove like every day, and it's still, you can't use it every time I do something. Alright. So I'm going to put that up on hot to get this oil hot. You want enough oil in your pan that they can actually like be immersed at the bottom. That's why I'm using this pan, because it's really a multi-purpose style pan, and you can get a deeper fry. Or you could use those little fryers that come with the lid on it. Everybody be buying to cook their hot wings. You can use that too. Just drop them in there. But I like pan frying everything. It's more complicated. We're supposed to be making this easy. Alright. So as my oil gets hot, I'm just going to take the calamari into the batter, into the hot oil. And then I'm going to need a plate with some oil degreasers. And I'm going to be using some napkins today. Napkins are very convenient. Oh, and what plate should we use? What decorative thing do I have here? Christmas plate. Well, we're gonna cover it, so that's alright. It was kind of Christmas. Alright. So, we have our plate with our napkins or paper towels to absorb the oil. Anytime you fry anything, you want to make sure you just set it down for a second so it doesn't, all that grease can drain out and the crispiness can stay crispy. So there we have that. We got more oil in case we need it. Sometimes if you do a few batches, because I have a whole bunch, as I go through this, I might need more oil. So keep your oil handy. Don't let that go anywhere. And make sure you have your spoon to scoop it out of your hot oil. There we go. Okay, so this is going to get it out of the grease. We don't need these anymore. We're just going to make sure that our water gets hot. This really does look like mashed potatoes. Like, I don't think it's supposed to look like that. I don't know what it'd be looking like behind the scenes at Red Lobster, but that's what mine looks like. Alright. Not quite hot enough. Oh, I actually have watchers. Had watchers. I hope you guys are having a good night. I hope you're having a good night. I'll have to read those later. I can't quite see them. I can see some smiley faces. I can see emojis. Alright, so we're actually almost done. I made this a lot more complicated than it needed to be, but you basically just get your batter and cut up your calamari, and that still is stuck on there. That's perfect. And then you just fry it and throw some sauces on it. So, yep. And don't burn yourself. And it's successful. Okay. It is feeling a little bit hot. Let's throw this. This is going to be our tester. Sometimes I just sacrifice the tester. If your oil is not hot enough, which it is not hot enough, it will make a lot of noise but not do anything. So no bubbles, not hot enough. We're going to leave this in the oil until it starts bubbling on us. And I will zoom in, I think. Can you see this one? Where is it? Oh, this is in the way. Alright. I'm going to batter something else. Alright. Let's try not to do that. That's all the stuff I'm going to be using for my sauces. I'm going to get really complicated on my sauces, because sauces are fun. So now you should be able to see the pot here. And it's just kind of now starting to bubble and boil. Okay, so beer batters make it more fluffy and crispy, like make it more like Long John Silver's crust. Whereas wet to dry, so like egg milk to flour, dry flour, makes it more like fried chicken, like KFC style. And then of course, there's just the type where you just take it and put it directly into the flour, and that's kind of more like a pan fry. And that's like more of a real thin, just kind of crisps it up a little bit, not really like a breaded filling, it just makes it more crispy. So I really like when I go out to order food, I really like the beer batters. Just don't always like the beer taste. Like that's the worst part about beer is the taste. No, sometimes I like beer. Do you like beer? Should cut that out. Okay. So some of the batter came off, and that could be because I put it in the oil too soon. And hopefully it's not because my batter's not good. I might have to add some like real, oh, it probably looks like that because it's coconut flour. I might need to add some real flour to this. Let's see here. So I will go ahead and use some regular, no good white flour, as in not nutritionist, just so it comes out a little better, because I don't think it's going to stick enough without some real flour in it. And again, just a little bit, because I don't have more seltzer water. Gotta get my fork again. So far away. Okay. I don't want to make dumplings, so try to stir it in kind of. So it doesn't take long to fry seafood. This piece of calamari that's in there is probably already almost done. Oh, you know you put enough seasonings in it when you can smell it. It smells delicious. I don't think the recipe calls for seasoning your batter, but I just can't not season my batter. Oops, wrong one. Alright. Did I get myself? Alright. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to show you. Oh, it's a squirty little thing. Thank goodness you're going to taste good. Yeah. The batter on this one kind of came off. Of course, ooh, that might be hot enough. It sure is really bubbly. Alright, that's kind of what it's looking like right now. And it didn't really stay on the calamari itself. So we're going to put that as a reject. And try this again with some more real flour in it. And hopefully this works out. If not, we're going to have to do the old-fashioned. Alright. I don't think this is going to stay on there. We might have to do a different batter. Let's see if it just stays on when it gets hot. Woo! And now it's probably a good time to turn down that grease. I feel like my kitchen on fire. Alright, so my grease got too hot. That's what that is. And I don't know about the seltzer water. Maybe it would have worked out better with the beer. So we're going to scratch this, unfortunately. And, well, I don't know. Let's see how this came out. Let's not throw in the towel just yet. Ooh! Dodging grease here. Yeah, I don't think that's quite battered enough for my flavor. I want more of a batter on there. So, we are going to do something different here. We're going to just do regular dry flour and then toss it in there and see if that works. So, let's take this off so we don't burn our oil. Let's get us another bowl. Why are you always so far away? Okay, here's one. And let's just use regular flour this time because it fries so much better. Where did I put it though? Oh, okay. Alright, so we're going to do this differently. This is just going to be flour. I got sugar in here. Okay. Alright, so we're going to just do the dry flour and we're going to add eggs and milk to this one. So let's add a little bit of rice flour just to see what happens, because this is just going to be one big experiment. And you're not going to see that on the edited version. You guys are the lucky ones to see me mess up here. It's like one big experiment. If something doesn't work, just do something else. So now, when I do this kind of batter, so we're just doing the wet to dry. I like putting my seasonings, my spices in both. So we're going to put it in the dry and the wet. So let's get our garlic salt in there. And let's garlic salt these too. And let's get our Creole in there. And our Creole in here. And what else do we need? Oh, I don't want to use baking soda. I want to put a little bit of this in here. Some coconut flour. And then I need some milk and some eggs. Some milk and some eggs. So eggs are your sticky part and milk is your, we're going to put more milk in there. We're going to be milking it. Alright. I'll probably just mix it in the corner here. So I'm going to eventually end up beating this egg with no shells into, this is going to be an egg milk bath. You just need enough to coat it. And dodging ring lights. All right. I got stuck. Well, hello there. Thanks for watching me. I hope you're enjoying your evening, and I hope you try out this calamari without the beer batter. Or maybe your beer batter came out and mine didn't because I used the wrong flour. So basically, I'm going to be whisking in milk and eggs. So you just whisk it together, and then you just make sure that it's a consistent, that everything's got. What is this doing? I'm just mixing it in so it's like a consistency, like so it's all the same. Alright, so now this is a milk egg wash. Oh, look, we didn't cut this guy up. Well, we'll just be editing everything out. I'm just kidding. Might as well drink some coffee while I'm at it. I only got this clean big one, so we're going to be using this. And then we're going to need to mix up our flour. So when you marinate anything in like a milk or an egg bath, and you put seasonings in it, the seasonings actually soak up into whatever you're marinating. So the longer this sits, the better, the more flavor. And let's just do this civilized, shall we? Fork and knife it. But I can guarantee when we are done, and we do have a successful fried calamari ring, it is going to be absolutely delicious. And every time you keep making something, the better it gets. So, not bad for our first time. Who's the teacher here? I'm just kidding. If you weren't confused to begin with, you are now. Okay. Alright, so we have our calamari cut up in our milk and egg bath. We're making Red Lobster's fried crispy dragon calamari appetizer, copycat recipe. We are battering our calamari, and we have it in our milk bath. Nice little clean wash up. Alright, so now we're going to mix in our flour. I am going to do a different hairstyle next time, but I'm having fun with the anime hair look. Let me know how you like my hair. If you like the curls better. I like the Marilyn Monroe look, but I also like the anime more. I think that's why I initially got a boob job, is because I just like the whole anime look. Looking like an anime doll. It's fun to dress up. Alright. Smell check. Ooh, it's delicious. Alright, so we are going to now try this again. Take 2, take 4. We're going to put our calamari into our flour and back into our hot grease. So let's go ahead and make sure our grease is hot again. Want it nice and hot, not burning. And this time I think I'm going to turn it down to a medium 6 on my stove. If you see these, here I'll show you how the bread did not stick to them. So I don't think calamari is like as good without it. It's just, there's no batter on it. It's just like a little bit of doughy calamari. So these get in the rejects. I'll have to figure out which dog to get that to. Grease, hot. Alright. It should get hot fast because we've already had it, but I want to see something boil off the bottom because before it was really boily. Anytime you put moisture into hot grease, it's going to boil. So that's why this one's kind of a safer route. It doesn't really spit back at you so much. And we're waiting. And thank you, YouTube, for letting me make this fun video. Okay. It's about to start to roll. That's what I think the official term of it is, rolling grease. When the grease rolls. When it smokes, it's too hot. You're burning it. Don't let it smoke. But you definitely want it to roll. You want it to bubble like boiling water. Just not that bad. Because water and grease don't mix. Which is weird that you'd make beer batter with water and then put it in hot grease. It's kind of weird. Alright, I took forever to cook tonight. I'm getting a little tired, so let's try to keep my energy level up. Where's that coffee? Thank you guys for having fun with me if you're joining me live. I appreciate the views and I appreciate you having fun with me. And you get to see the undeleted versions of how I really do this. And thank goodness for coffee. I like tea too. Hot tea is good too. Lights, camera, action. Nope. Nope. No. Too soon. Too soon. Too soon. I think this probably is one of my favorite ones from my try-on haul. This bright orange outfit. I really like the orange on it. I like it how it has the rhinestones or what bedazzled the jewels on it. I don't know what you call the sparkly things. And it's kind of cool because it has butterflies on it. Like, I didn't know this at first, but there's a butterfly right here. And then if I turn it around, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a butterfly on the back too. She's really cute. And let's make sure we don't get any hair in our food. It's either too hot or too cold. Alright. Come on. maybe I do need it up a little bit more, like to 7. Let's try 7. It's like watching plants grow. What's your favorite anime character? Alright, let's see if I can read this. Oh, I have 7, I think. Well, even if I just had 1, because I can't tell, or none, I do appreciate you watching me. I hope you're enjoying me making a mess out of all this. I did say I never cooked it before, so. But I do know that I think beer works better than seltzer water. I do want to try it again with the beer batter. I do want to try it again with the beer batter and not seltzer water and regular flour one time, but I don't have any more of that, so we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way with the eggs and the milk and the flour and our spices and our oil. And hopefully this comes out. So I think it's hot enough. I'm going to go ahead and try this out. So with my clean hands, let's try octopus head this time. I mean, squid head. Squid head tentacles. AKA tentacles. Alright, so we have it nice and wet. And then we're going to throw it in our dry. And then alright, there we go. So then we actually could put it back in our wet and back in our dry. Or we could just try it like this. What should we do? Let's try it to get it wet again. And then let's throw it back in our dry. So let's do 2 coats and see how that comes out. Because we really want a nice thick batter on it that's going to stick to the actual calamari. You want it crispy, so you need an actual... There we go. Alright. Ooh, look, it's dancing. Aww. It's going to be so tasty. Alright, so we got our beautiful little animal head here. That I am very appreciative of. We all need protein. And it looks like, I know it's hard to see from there, but it looks like our batter stayed this time. So I don't know if you can kind of see it. See it a little dancing? It's doing a little dance. This is really fun to cook. So it's getting nice and light and crispy. This is perfect. Alright. We're going to have crispy calamari, everyone. Or I wouldn't make it just for you. I think I talk about myself like I'm 3 different people. We did wonderful today. Alright, so this is beautiful and crispy. It's got a nice oh, we have a little tentacle to our tentacle. It's beautiful and golden. I'm going to keep it in for a second to get that bottom side because I just flipped it. And we have our first tentacle. Our first head ready to go. And now we just have to do all this like that. So, hang out. Go get a beer. Go get a water. Go get a cherry limeade. Put your feet up and relax. And we will be eating fried calamari very soon. This is so exciting. This is a super fancy dish, usually served at high-end restaurants that you can make for yourself or your special someone or just a friend and be like, I don't know how to make that. And just leave out the first part, okay? So, our oil is nice and hot here. And this is looking perfect. Try not to drop it like I did in my Philly cheesesteak video. Which is cool. You should check that one out too if you like Philly cheesesteaks. It definitely tastes a lot better than it looks. It's really delicious recipe. So, alright. I'm going to throw in as many as this pot will fill. So, I'm going to do it twice. So, 1. And the rings, you might have to just pack the flour down on it, like that. Then we're going to do wet again. And then we're going to do dry again. And make sure you put your fingers through the middle of it, because you don't want a wet pocket in there. It's not, you want the crispy golden ring on it. So you just dust off a little bit of flour and throw it in there. And we're going to do this to all these. So I'm going to two-hand this so we can get somewhere sometime tonight. And then I'm going to dust off my flour and I'm going to go back in the wet. I'm going to go back in the dry. And then we're going to put this in here with our friend. And if you might want to be careful because the more flour you get in the pan, the more it sits on the bottom. And it can make your fried calamari not look so pretty. So try to get as little flour in your grease as possible. And I'm going to try to maybe do a few more at a time. Let's see if we can do 4. And it is a little splattery, so just make sure you don't get caught in it. And your fingers will definitely get messy. There's no getting around that. Right. And these ones that are in here are already done, so they're probably going to cook just as fast as I could get them made. So you might want to make these, like dip them in the flour ahead of time and then start frying them all. But, okay, yes. Okay. These ones here are nice and crispy. I'm going to flip them for just a second because they're already almost done. Oh, these are perfect. These actually look like the batter that's on them at Red Lobster, better than that beer batter. Because if you look at these are nice, thick, and puffy. That's actually perfectly beautiful. Once you get your calamari and you get them in your bath and you put the flour and you put it in the pot, it's really quite easy. It's really quite easy. Right, so these ones are almost done. And if you're afraid of burning your oil, you can just take it off the stove for a second like that while you make a few, and then we can put them in all at once. So these ones are almost done, and it smells so delicious because I got that spices in the flour. When you spice your flour, it really gives it a whole nother level, a whole nother definition, taste, flavorings to your calamari. So here we have our beautiful fried calamari. Those crispy pieces are from the breading that came off on the first one. So if you want yours to look perfect, just put them back in like an empty pan with fresh oil. But I think I like the crispies. It's not a big deal, and then they kind of fall off too. It's just part of frying stuff. All right, we got a flour. Let's keep going. If you wanted the breading on these to be thinner, only put them in the flour once and then toss them in there. But I like how thick those came out, so I'm double dunking. Double dunking these. And the egg is really what keeps it to stick on. The egg is the main ingredient. Maybe I was supposed to put an egg in there. Maybe that's why it didn't look right, because this was have an egg. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So, throw these in here. And the bottom of my pan is burning a little bit, like the stuff on the bottom, like the flour. So, but it'll still be okay. I just got to try to do these faster. Stop talking and cook. Give it a good shake, a good roll. Make sure you pick it up with your finger in the middle and drop it in the oil. You can tell which ones are done just by the coloring of them, so it doesn't matter like what stage you pop them in there. Just get them in there. And you're gonna have sticky fingers, but that's okay. That's the fun part about battering them yourself. Alright, so got that. And so let's put these ones that are already golden brown. And as I show you, you can tell the difference between the ones I just put in the pan and the ones that are almost done. Mine's that little crispy part there. See, you can tell the difference in the color. Alright. Let's do some tentacles. Tentacles are a little bit, take a little bit more time to spread them just because you want to get all around all their cool little legs. Oh man, these taste so good too. I love ordering these at every restaurant I go to. I won't even get a meal sometimes. I'll just order some calamari. And if you notice, the more you have in the pan, the longer they take to cook. They don't burn as fast, so you kind of want to keep your pot full. And just shake off that excess oil. Get off that extra oil. Oh, these are looking so good, you guys. So good. I wish I could share them with you. Alright, so these are almost ready to come out. Let me spread up a few more tentacles here. So, got flour, milk, flour, and flour. Those are almost ready to take out. You get a couple more of these done. And there's no real right or wrong way to do this, so however you find you like to do it. Maybe use your fork instead of your fingers. It's all up to you. So let me take these out real quick. Alright, we got a nice golden brown color in here. And if they come, see, these are all staying in rings, but this one here didn't. It was softer, and it turned into like a long piece. These are still just as edible, and if you notice when you go to Red Lobster, you actually tend to find one or two of those in your thing. It's just part of the, squid. So don't be disappointed if one doesn't hold. It holds its ring. Alright, so these are already double battered, so I'm just going to drop all these in here. These ones are really fun to watch cook because they kind of like spread out. Their arms and stuff go out. Alright, so I managed to get enough done for that. Occasionally you will find you'll have to add more flour to this, but I think we're good for a couple more things here. And we're going to be at this for a minute. Dippity dip. Oh yeah, those are looking great. Shake and bake. Alright. So this one's still sticky in the center. I'm going to go ahead and drop these in here. And I'm also going to turn down my oil because it's definitely getting too hot. You can kind of smell it. You want it to be hot enough that it cooks it, but not too hot that it's going to burn the oil. So we got enough in here. And we're going to need some more flour. And we're going to need some more milk. And we're going to need some more flour. 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 And we watching. I hope you have hit that. Don't go anywhere. We're not anywhere done. But thank you for watching, and I hope you subscribe. I'm going to be coming out with a lot of newer ideas, and just getting really creative with dressing up and cooking. And if you have a recipe you want to know how to make, just leave it in a comment for me, and I'll be more than glad to make it for you, even if I've never made it before, like this. So look at these beautiful little tentacles that came out just like the ones you see at Red Lobster. Like, you can't tell me, this looks like something you would get from your Red Lobster plate. See how beautiful and crispy that is? Of course, it's greasy because we just got it out of the grease. It hasn't had time to drain yet. And then, of course, always just, if you run out of room on your plate, stack some more napkins on top and keep building up. So let me add some more flour. I'm going to put a lot more. And let's add some more of this. And we need some garlic salt. So just read through your flour, spices, Creole, garlic salt, Creole, garlic salt, oh, and some of this. This is like crushed red pepper and spices, combo of spices. Let's mix this up. Ooh, it's gonna give me again. I keep breathing it in. Alright. And wardrobe check. Let's flip these. Alright, so we have more batter, more flour made. Just like that. Smell check. Didn't sneeze that time. Alright, so I'm going to flip these over. Sometimes when you flip them, all those little burnt little crispies come off, but they also come off when you put them on the paper towel, so don't worry too much about that. We should have been ready before we started frying. We, again, myself. And, oh yeah, actually, I want these a little bit more crispier. They're not quite as golden as the rest of them, so give those one more minute. We did turn down our oil, so it's cooking a little bit slower. That's better. Alright, flour. Let's make a whole bunch while we got that going. And just put your rings in the flour so you can push them down. And put them back in the milk egg bath. So, like this. And then I'm just going to push them down, turn them over, push them down, turn them over, push them down, turn them over, push them down, turn them over. And now I'm going to re-milk them. Milk them. Ooh, I got to sneeze. Alright, don't want to sneeze on the food. Alright, so milk. I forgot what I was doing. Flour. Those are just about ready to take out. That's kind of the time frame you want. By the time those are done frying, you want to have a whole nother batch ready to go in your grease. Alright, these gotta go in the milk. And you can tell the difference on the ones that you don't double batter, because they really do come out like, it does almost looks like there's nothing there at all on your calamari. And we are making copycat Red Lobster appetizer crispy dragon fried calamari. I think they just call it crispy dragon shrimp or crispy dragon calamari. It's on their appetizer meal. And then you just want to mix these up in the flour real good. And make sure they have holes in the middle still, so their middles aren't wet. And then we are going to get this out. We got a dough ball right there. Alright, so these are ready. Beautiful, beautiful, very, very golden. And nice and crispy. Gotta find the room on the plate here. And there's some more right here. Alright. Kind of get out your little crispy pieces so they don't continue to burn. Put them to the side. Alright, we're going to put these in here. Then we're going to make more. Thanks for joining me. We're making fried calamari from Red Lobster, crispy dragon version. So let's make some more while our fingers are still messy. That's kind of enough for one pan there. And this really is a slimy job. You could use gloves if you don't like to touch slimy things, because then you're just touching the glove. So, but I like making a mess. Alright, so these have all been one time. So let's 2-time these. Get through all these at some point tonight. Here we go. And just flour them so they're not sticky anymore. And then we got our dough balls in the trash. A lot of dough. I wish I had a lot of dough. Okay. That pepper really got on my nose. Alright, so we have our next batch ready to go. It's hard to see them in the flour, but they are in there. And these ones are almost ready to take out. We're going to flip these. And we got some murky grease, but like I said, this stuff comes off really easy. Look how delicious that looks. This just flakes off. Like, it just like kind of rubs off. So I'm going to clean this up before I put them on my platter and before we put the sauce on them. But it's really, really pretty looking. And it smells, it's probably going to taste even better because I probably use more spices. But you let me know. You try this recipe and then you try Red Lobsters and you let me know which one's better. Or let yourself know. If you talk to yourself like I do. Alright. Because they're almost there. You want to make sure they get a nice good crisp on them so they stay crispy when we add our sauce. So you want them a little bit over crispy opposed to under crispy because the sauce is really going to make it softer. And you want to get a perma crisp like that. That's crispy. That's crispy. That's perfect. Alright. I forgot to double stack my, I got grease on. Alright. We have to, I don't know why I opened that. You want to put it on a nice good layer so that they don't get greasy. The top ones don't make the bottom ones soggy. So make sure you always have it on its own little napkin where it could absorb all the extra grease. We're just going to pile it on here, shake off the oil, pile it on. And keep going. Let's put these in here. Make sure you can poke a hole through the middle so that they fry into rings. And here we go. So if you use like a different fryer, you can actually do this in a lot shorter time. I just like using this pan, taking my time. So why not? So I'm just filling through my flour to find all my little calamari pieces, and that's about full there. The more moist this gets, the more oh, there's one. Nope, that's just flour. Alright, we have a lot to go. Alright, so I appreciate all you for joining me. This is basically, let me wash my hands real quick. I'm going to keep at this, but I'm just going to show you real quick the finished product for all my live viewers. So you get the drift here, and this is what they look like. Let me get a little plate, and then we'll get a little sauce here. So one of the classic dipping sauces is marinara sauce for calamari. It's what they give you at most restaurants, also like a lemon butter sauce. So we're going to make those, or we're just going to pour some of this in here, and then you can watch my edited version to check out all my different sauces, but we're just going to try it with our marinara. So I've never tried this brand before, but it looked delicious, so we're trying this. This is going to be our marinara sauce, like you get in the fancy restaurants. And we are going to grab our crispy piece of calamari down here, one that's not burning hot from the oil. I just took it out. And I'm going to try this for you, but let me wash my hands real quick, because I got my, what do you call these little gloves dirty? That's alright. So, alright, taste test for all my live viewers. Marinara, fried calamari. You can't eat just one. Oh my gosh. Alright, this is probably a little bit better than Red Lobster just because it has more flavor in the flour. But it is basically like the fried calamari. Check out my edited version to see how I make the special sauce, the dragon sauce, my version of it, and all of my other sauces. It's cooked just perfectly. The crisp is still crispy. The flavor is delicious. It's intense. The calamari is not too tough to eat. It kind of melts in your mouth, but it's still got a nice little chew to it with the crispiness. Perfect. Marinara, delicious. This is good marinara. If you like marinara sauce, try this. This is good. And check out my video for the full version of all my sauces and my finished product. And thanks for hanging out with me and putting up with my, what do you call that? my bloopers. So, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me, and I'll catch you on the next live version.